This is Dr. Gigi Sabat, and you're listening to the Walk With Me podcast. My guest today is Sheryl Bass. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Such an honor to have you here today. Now, why don't you start off by telling us more about you and where are you from, Sheryl?
I'm originally from South Florida, but I now live in McHenry, Illinois. And about myself, well, I have two master's degrees, one in journalism and one in social work. And I use both of those to inform my picture book writing. And I have two picture books out now. One of them is Baby Dragon's Big Sneeze, and the other one is Baby Dragon Finds His Family.
I love it. Tell us a little bit more about both.
Okay, Baby Dragon's Big Sneeze basically starts with Baby Dragon that's flying around having a great time, and he catches a cold and he sneezes and accidentally burns down a village because dragons breathe fire. And so the townspeople are very upset with him until a little girl goes to his cave and decides to get his side of the story and finds out that he did not do this on purpose, that he had a cold. And so, but he doesn't have parents. He doesn't have anyone to help him, and he's just a baby. So she gets the townspeople to help him get well, and in turn, he helps them rebuild. So that's Baby Dragon's Big Sneeze. Baby Dragon Finds His Family is several months later. He is still living with the humans because he doesn't have other dragons that he knows about. And they don't have a name for him. They just call him Dragon or Baby Dragon. And because dragons normally are named by their parents. And so he starts to get very upset and feel out of place because there's no other dragons that he knows. So he goes on a quest to try to find other dragons. And along the way, he meets an elf, a fairy, and a unicorn. And they need his help with various different things along the way. And so the question with that story is, does helping them derail his quest, or does he find the family he seeks? And I will go ahead and give a spoiler here. He finds the family he seeks, and the family he seeks is actually the family of the humans that have been taking care of him all along. So it's a really sweet message about found family. It's really great for kids that are adopted or have blended families. So it's a really sweet message of the true meaning of family.
Wow, I love it. And what inspired you to write both, Sheryl?
Well, the first one came about, it's sort of a funny story. I was walking down the street about 15 years ago, and I sneezed really hard. And I had the ridiculous thought that it's a good thing that I'm not a dragon because this would have done a lot of damage. And then I thought, well, this seems like a children's picture book. So I went ahead and wrote a first draft. I put it away and didn't do anything with it. And then years later decided to try to get it traditionally published, was not successful getting it traditionally published, but then decided to go ahead and self-publish it and had much success with that, and then decided to self-publish the second story as well. And I've written a third one, which I will probably publish either later in 2025 or in 2026.
Congratulations. Now, what message do you have for an individual who attempted to traditionally publish as well, but now they've given up? What message do you have for that individual, Sheryl?
Do not give up. Just because traditional publishing doesn't work out does not mean that there isn't an avenue for you and that there isn't an audience for your book. Self-publishing, there are a lot of advantages to self-publishing. For example, you get a lot more creative control. I was able to choose my illustrator and really work with him on what was going to happen on every page and really world build with him in a way that I would not have been able to had I traditionally published. If you traditionally publish, the publishing house picks the illustrator. They decide what's happening on every page and what your characters look like and how they function and so on. So, and also it's a quicker process to self-publish than it is to traditionally publish. From the time that they say yes to your story to the time it hits the shelves can be 5 years or more with traditional publishing, but it can take 6 months to a year for self-publishing. So it's a lot faster a process, and the royalties are a little bit higher with self-publishing too. And you're not necessarily alone. I always thought that the term self-publishing meant that I would be alone in a room with a book like Self-Publishing for Dummies, and I would have to try to figure it out by myself. But I actually had a mentor, a woman named April Cox, and she has a company called Self Publishing Made Simple, and she walks people through the process. So she'll get on a Zoom call with you, and she'll help you file with the Library of Congress to get your book copyrighted. She'll help you get the ISBN code, which is the little like UPC symbol that's on the back of the book. She'll help you walk you through the entire process. So there are people out there like that do that for people who are self-publishing. So you're not completely alone.
I love it. Thank you for sharing that information with us, Sheryl.
Sure.
Now, Sheryl, what is your best advice to the audience for walking with purpose and living a life of happiness? Take your time, no rush.
Okay, walking with purpose. Well, when something brings you joy and sort of tickles your soul, listen to that. Listen to that. So whether that is music or some other type of artistic expression, I really believe that that's how we connect with divine, is creativity. Um, the creator, we create, and that's our way of connecting. And so even if it's not necessarily in a professional capacity, that little glimmer of joy that you get, that's telling you something. And to listen to that and pursue that, follow that, whether it's even joining a choir, a community choir, or taking up an instrument. I'm learning how to play the ukulele just for fun. And I used to play flute as a kid, and I'm trying to get back to that. So those types of things are really important for your soul, I think. So feed your soul is the message I would give.
I love it. Feed your soul. Very powerful. Ladies and gentlemen, write that down. Feed your soul. I love it. Sheryl, do you have any last words for the audience?
Just don't give up. However long it takes you, that's your journey. If you have a book inside you, which I think most people do, they have a story to tell. So pursue that, follow that dream. There are people out there to help you. There are Facebook groups, for example. You could type in searches like self-publishing and things like that, and find your tribe. Find people on Facebook and other types of social media, and in your community that can help you. Once you decide what you want to do, you'll find people that can help you make that happen.
Very true. Sheryl, thank you so much for being a guest on the Walk With Me podcast. Now, where can the audience find you?
So you can find my books at Be Kind Publishing. It's be-kindpublishing.com. Or you can find them on Amazon or on barnesandnoble.com, target.com, walmart.com, all of those places.
Thank you so much, Sheryl. And ladies and gentlemen, make sure to check out Sheryl's books. And again, Sheryl, thanks so much. God bless you and be safe.
Thank you. You too.